Hi there, it's Jeff Harrison here with MacroMonster.com. A user in the CorelDRAW forums was wondering how to create something like this in a vector format and something that could possibly be reusable. So I'm just going to set this off to the side for the moment. And I'm just create a quick little rectangle here. And if we were to give it just some other little color for the moment to get rid of the outline, I'm going to go ahead and convert this to a bitmap. We don't have to have massive resolution. I think the settings that I've got here will be sufficient for this example. But we could try maybe RGB. The plugin that we're going to be going to in a moment might expect that. Alright, so then we just simply go to Bitmaps, Creative, and choose Frame. You can see here what it's going to be doing. If we go to the Modify tab, I'm just going to move this out of the way for a moment. You can see already in the background what's going on there. Now, when we've got the color option here, you could set some other color for that other background color if you want. I'm going to pick recenter. If we go to the, let's just move this over a little bit, see what we've got going on there. You can adjust this a little bit. You can see how that affects the, the thing there relative to the frame. If I'm going to go over a little bit, maybe to the left here, something like that. Let's say we're happy with that. Alright, so what we're dealing with here is we have an actual bitmap. So why would we want something like this? Well, it is a bitmap and you could certainly work with it that way, but if you want a vector version of that for whatever reason, you could just simply go to Trace Bitmap, and well, just try Quick Trace, see what pops up. There we go. So now it's traced. Now one of the differences though, if I was to select one of these shapes, you can see how we have more than one shape involved there due to those other colors. I'm going to go back a notch, and if we were to go to trace again, if we go into the, let's say the logo setting over here, now we have a bit more control since we're in the trace dialog. We can go to, uncheck remove background, go over to colors, and this gives us some control over those different shades. So I'm going to shift select these three shades here and merge them. So what this means is that our final result is only going to have two colors and nothing more. Hit OK. The reason that might be useful, if I get rid of those other ones behind there, is that it allows us to quickly recolor what we're looking at there. Now, one thing I might suggest for this situation, you see how the green piece, I'm just going to ungroup those by the way, see how the green piece kind of has that white area behind there? Normally you don't want that. So I'm going to select this color here, press Control K, and then I'm going to, well, I guess I could weld it is one way to get rid of all of that. So all we have now is just a regular rectangle. I'm going to hit Shift Page down to send it to the back. So now when I move this green piece, it's solid behind there. It just looks a little bit better. It's a little bit less complicated for the Corel file. So I guess one final thing you could do is now that these are simple vector shapes, you could go ahead and sample some colors from our original bitmap. And maybe go back over here and dump that in. So it looks a little different, but now we have a vector shape that we can scale as we need it. And it'll print quite nice at whatever dimension you want it to print at. There you go. So hopefully that might be useful for a project that you have in mind. And because it's vector shapes, you can really easily recolor to anything you might need. You could make it more subtle, something like that, drop some text in. So you've got a bit of a texture element going on there. And it's just so easy to make it whatever color you might need. In fact, let's try something a little interesting here. I'm going to go back to those two different colors, but let's say I want to tint this towards more of a color scheme that I might have for my design. If I was to left click on, I don't know, red, and I'm holding Control by the way, it's going to tint both of those pieces a little bit towards red. Let's say I wanted to go towards blue. I'm going to hold down Control and left click on cyan. You see how easy that is to force those vector shapes to a different hue that might coincide better with your project? I think you get the idea of some of the possibilities here. So that's just a quick little tip if you need to create some design elements that have kind of a jagged look to them and have them in a vector format.